Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother,
What's going on?
right about now. The Funk Soul Brother, check
Hello,
it
hello.
out now. The Funk
Long
Soul
time no
Brother,
see, people.
right about now. The Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother, right about now.
Coming at you with the podcast here. Just had to do a skip on that, avoid copyright and all that.
Yeah, always avoiding copyright.
It's lit. We're back. Episode 21. We made it. Or is it 22? Let me see, actually.
I think it's 22.
It's 22. All right, 22. Best in the West. All right, guys. Cool. So we'll be talking about the Giants and Dodgers who are playing in an hour and 15 minutes.
This is driving me nuts.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's cool.
Makeshift setup here.
That's cool right there. Yeah, so the Giants and the Dodgers play today, so we'll be talking about that and maybe add in a little bit of NFL talk. You know, we're still a little NBA, not much is going on, so that's probably going to be our episode.
Yeah, minor NBA talk about the DeAndre Jordan stuff.
Yeah, just because it happened a couple hours ago. You know.
All right, man. So the Giants are. Let's just get right into it, because we wanted to watch the game, obviously.
The Giants have been caught this week.
Giants are
85 and 49, I believe, or 47. Both of them are.
I think you're right. 49. I know they're like 37 games over or something like that.
Yeah. So, and obviously, you guys are familiar. Obviously, the Dodgers have the tiebreaker. You know, head to head. So, it's pretty wild. They're both 85 and 49, right?
Yeah, they're 85 and 49,
Oh,
and
wow.
I think their series is tied 8-8. I believe.
Why are the Dodgers above them in the standings then?
Then you might be right. I think the run differential was like this. I think it was super close.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Dodgers are above them in the standings
I think you're right.
by a half a game. It shows.
I think it's like super close though. Like.
Oh no, it's crazy close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah, it's 8. It's LA's 8-8 against the Giants overall,
so the tiebreakers run differential.
and I think
The tiebreakers run differential.
yeah they're they're evened out.
Yeah.
and they've put the same amount of runs on each other. I think they're both at like some.
Okay, well we're getting bogged down in.
Yeah, I know, but
it's
it's just a funny stat.
It's very very close. So
Yeah.
how we got here? How did we get here? You wanna? I'll do the Giants last week, and you could talk about the Dodgers. You know the Dodgers. What are they at right now? Like 18 and 3 in their last 21 games or something. Something
They
nuts.
cooled down a little bit, but yeah, they're nuts. They've been going on a tear since they signed Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were the one that said that might be a bigger signing than the Scherzer.
Yeah, well, because the thing is, what he allows them to do is like, that you could put him out in center field, and then you don't have to worry about Bellinger in the lineup. I know Bellinger's they put him in against lefties only, pretty much. Or wait, he's a left-hander, so he would only go against righties.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they only put him in against righties.
Man, he's fallen so far from grace. MVP.
He's still defensively not a liability, but other than that, he really isn't much for the team.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as he said, the Trey Turner trade, and Max Scherzer obviously has been doing work.
Will Turner's been, or Will Smith. Will Turner's something else. But Will Smith's been putting in work at the catcher position. I think he got over 20 home runs. He's been on a little bit of a hot streak, so I'd look out for him in this weekend's matchup. And obviously Muncy, too, is a giant killer.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, Muncy is the giant killer. Yeah. Yeah, but so how we got here, obviously, the last 10 days or whatever, the Giants, after the A's series when they, they really should have lost. They should have basically gotten maybe swept by the A's,
Yeah,
They didn't come back.
Two nutty comebacks in the 8th and 9th inning.
They had 2 pinch hit home runs.
Yeah.
In the top of the 8th inning of back-to-back games.
Well, dude, the same thing that I keep hearing, is the way they've been winning these games in the last month stretch. They've been not only so sketch, just by clutch home runs, like you said, and pinch hitting. It's been unbelievable to watch. But obviously, in the last 7 games, we've played tough teams in tough environments, like going to Atlanta, And the Brewers, man, they're a good pitching team. So if the home runs aren't coming in, which is what our team relies on heavily, against a good pitching team like the Brewers and the Dodgers, it's harder to get those home runs.
You got me on, and then I've done a little research of my own on the how the Giants. This has also been a rough stretch because both of them are probably playoff teams if the Braves don't get caught, obviously.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't have a break, like they had to go 3 hours ahead and play in ATL.
Yeah.
With the Braves on a 2-day break.
Oh, they were ready.
Not even 1 day.
They had it circled.
2 day.
They had it circled on their calendar.
A 2-day break, which in baseball in August is kind of unheard of, right? Like 2 days, that's a lot of time. They come in and then they gotta fly back. Yeah, and then
let's be real.
We gotta play and then because the time zone adjustment, the Brewers are only 2 hours ahead. So they got it. They're still way off going back to the Bay, you know. So
just psychologically, that's a huge.
They were schedule losses. I think was a big part of it, and obviously the starting pitching has declined as the season's gotten on.
Starting pitching, Brandon Crawford and Posey have had slow months. They've carried the team throughout the entire season.
Yeah, slow. I mean, compared to what they were doing,
I'm just saying their last 40 at bats, they're not doing well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the series that we've been talking about. And those Atlanta Braves and Brewers series, they've been missing.
Yeah.
They're having amazing seasons, but they're in a little bit of a slump right now.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think what we're trying to say is the schedule did not help them.
No.
For them to start, slowing down in that rough of a, geez.
Dude, the other thing I think that was a huge impact on that was like you just said, the Braves had 2 days off, and then the Brewers didn't have that much of a time change. Like, we just beat the Brewers in Milwaukee.
Handedly. We watched those games.
I mean, they were comeback wins, but do you think that the Brewers are going to think, like, okay, we got to come back at their place, and, like, that's a big deal to them? They probably had that circle on their calendar.
No, they totally did.
And then the Braves, they've seen us in the win columns all year long. They're going to host us. They're not going to like, take that. What I'm saying is these teams are taking us seriously.
Well, the Braves are fighting for their life, and then the Brewers wanted payback, is what you're saying.
And dude, let's be real. Like, at the end of the day, you take it game by game, but the Giants ultimately have had this weekend today circled on their calendar. Like, this is their weekend, and it's just been such a hell of a stretch to get there.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm not trying to talk about basketball right now, but when the Warriors were so good. And everyone was coming at their throat, They were they were the hunted, right?
Yeah.
The Giants have been the hunted for 3 months. It's actually impressive they've had like basically the best record for 3 months, right?
Well, now they're tied with the best record still.
Yeah, the entire summer they were hunted. That's got to be exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, just, you have to bring out, like, the Mets played them tough. The Mets, and we know how terrible the Mets are, people. Like,
it's just, it's like every time you play a team, it's like, this team's got the best record in baseball.
They hear it, their fans hear it, they're like, if you knock down these, maybe even to, like, I'm not going to go too deep in that, maybe even saving jobs, like, you're having a train wreck of a season. You're the Diamondbacks. Oh, but we beat the Giants a couple times. We beat these good teams. Maybe that shows some promise for the next coming years,
Totally.
You didn't just lay down against the best team.
That's what the Rockies did to the Dodgers.
I'm worried about those 6 games against the Rockies right now. Coors Field.
They could go 3-3.
That's sketch. I was looking. I have their schedule up. So
what's crazy is they have. Just while you're looking at the schedule, they played 10 games against the Padres in the final 20-game stretch.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So this is their schedule. I'll just tell So they got the Dodgers at home, these 3, and then this is all continuous. They don't get a break in between. Then they fly out to Colorado. They play the Rockies 3-game. They have a 1-day break. Then they got to fly out to Chicago and play the Cubs. The Cubs at home, I still think that's...
They might try and beat Chris Bryant.
And then they come back and play the Padres at home for a 4-gamer. And then they get the Braves for a 3-gamer at home. And then they have to go to San Diego, Colorado, and then Arizona and the Padres back at home. But that's...
Padres scares me a little. I know they've been falling off a cliff, but they're still, I think, 5-5 against each other. It's even, or 3-3.
Yeah, I was listening to Kipe's son's podcast for the Giants, and it was just he made a very good point. It's very funny. Like right now, we thought the roles would be totally flipped. The Padres would be in the lead with the Dodgers, and it would be the Giants maybe trying to wreck them into getting the wild card, and it's totally flipped. It's a 180,
Yeah.
which is kind of I thought that was a good point. I was like, yeah, that's. The Padres are the ones, that are trying to hang on. I know they got the second wild card by a good amount, but they could get caught. They can get caught, especially with how far they've been falling.
Yeah, but the Padres lineup, man, it's lethal. And at the end of the day, man, I would really not want to play against a Padres team in a wild card game where Tatis can just go off and hit 2 runs.
They have too much talent. I don't care how down they are right now.
They're not.
Too much talent.
They're by far to me, they're not going to win the World Series just because how lackluster their pitching's been.
Yeah.
And let's be real, that's pretty much what you need to win, and that's where
Yeah.
the Giants have that sliver of a chance to get past the Dodgers.
That's how I'd be worried about
in a one-game playoff.
Yeah.
Who's the Giants' ace? Like, is it Webb, who's been pretty good in the last few months? But I don't know, man. It's tough. Gossman's kind of been
Webb's gotten more
slowing
consistent,
down.
which is nice.
What's crazy is I heard a stat, and I know our stats are kind of all over the place. They're not completely on point because we're not reading computers in front of us. But
yeah.
I think I read a stat somewhere that since June, Webb's had the best ERA in the majors, and he's also broken a record. Or since 1901, the Giants haven't done this. He's pitched, I think, like 10 or 12 games in a row with less than 2 runs.
Wow.
Each, or at least 2 runs. Or two's the most.
You know what's been funny about Webb, if my memory serves me right, every time we've seen him kind of get on a roll, he's kind of gotten hurt the last couple of years. Hasn't that been?
Yeah.
Every time we're like, oh, wow, this is what we were waiting for. He's gotten hurt. Like 2 or 3 times, right? Like he's when he gets on these rolls, and I'm not trying to jinx it. But like he's finally stayed healthy, and now we see like what we've been waiting for 2 or 3 years. Like it's great.
They call him a tunnel vision pitcher. It's something similar to John Lester, where all of his pitches look the same, but they're all different, and they all do different things. So you'll throw a change up, and it'll look the same as a splitter or a sinker. And it's it's some. I don't know why it's beneficial, but obviously it's a new thing in the majors right now that John Lester was the master of, apparently.
Well, I mean, if it's coming the same way, and the same angle and everything, and they all look the same, and then they go a different way that's very.
That's what he's supposed to be.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts.
What's nuts, dude, is not to talk like we're always so surprised by how they are this season, but like pretty much their entire pitching staff down to the bullpen was just random acquisitions that Farhad made around the league.
Yeah.
Like down to like Jarlin Garcia, who we were both like on the first podcast we were pissed about, and now he's probably a guy that's gonna go tomorrow.
The man.
I wouldn't be surprised if he pitched 3 or 4 innings tomorrow in a bullpen game. I mean that's what's asked upon him.
And I'm actually happy with it now. It's fine. Like. You could see now that they let him run through those tough times that his confidence has gone way up.
He's insane. Yeah, his player development.
The Giant man, and then we'll talk about player development. Who's their longtime coach? He's retiring after this year. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
The man. They were discussing that.
We need to come up with better notes, but it's
our notes are
Ron Wotus.
Yeah.
Ron Wotus.
Ron Wotus, just wanted to shout him out, because he's survived every Giants manager since the 90s, basically.
34 years, man.
That's crazy.
It's a long time.
That's crazy. That's not surviving, and he survived 4 managers.
Yeah.
Who survives 4 managers? Everyone else gets fired.
Well, the reason why Bochy got out of there was once the analytics came in, like he's just like, I'm not going to do this shit, because he wants to be the guy to be like, all right, I want this guy in the bullpen. I don't care what the stats say. He's going to be my pitcher right now in this game. And obviously that worked out for him. They won 3 World Series, but in 2016 when it didn't work out, and the whole league's just turning into this thing where it's like you pretty much just it's all statistical. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
I'm not a statistics guy. I would have left Blake Snell in the World Series. there's definitely a major room for it. Like, I'm not like old head. I'm totally anti, stat. Like, I'm not. You need it, but there's a fine line there, where you go over the top, like that Blake Snell, like that, it can hurt you. I think, what's ironic that you say Bochy didn't like it, because I would have kept what was it, Will Smith or whoever, the redheaded guy that was pitching in that game.
I know who you're talking about.
I forget his name.
It's fine. They took him out, put Sergio in.
But the thing is, in your gut,
he was killing it.
No.
He went 8 innings. Yeah.
No. But the thing is,
sorry.
In that, you know what? You remember it now, right? In that game, Bochy decided to put in a guy who had. It was kind of like the Blake Snell thing. Had Sergio Romo, who was a Giants great, in the past, but he had nothing in that postseason, and he had blown 3 or 4 saves earlier. You remember?
I mean, it's a 5-game series. I watched most of the highlights recently.
But going down the stretch at the end of the game.
Oh, at the end of the season,
he was pitching terrible.
He was, and even in that series, they got to him in that series.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Blake Snell was pulled for that guy that blew saves. Remember?
Yeah.
He was pulled for him, and just based off of lefty righty and the innings, and it's funny to me because Bochy should have left him in, but he doesn't like the stats. So I just thought it was interesting parallel.
I think when it comes down to it, like, because Dave Roberts, man, like he essentially, like, they just recently found out that, like, most of the things that they've done throughout the postseason with the Dodgers that he's been the coach of, they've all been analytics. They've all been stats. So, like,
you kind of saw that though.
I did see
Dave Roberts,
but
you hate Dave Roberts because of that. He's like down to the letter. He will not switch up from the analytics.
But it's just like, the thing is, there's been, like, so much, like, hate towards him. Obviously, they just won the World Series, but a lot of people come out of Twitter, come out of the comments. They always talk about how, like, why would you put this person in this position? Like, whatever the analytical correct thing to do was.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, man, we saw the Dodgers melt down in the postseason. I mean, look at what happened when Kershaw threw those back-to-back bombs against the Nationals in Game 5. I don't know, like, I feel like you're right, man. There's moments and like, especially down in September and October, like, you kind of just have to figure it out.
Because I think it's confidence. It's like playoff, any sport, any of the major 3, or I guess you could throw in hockey. Like, there are those players that, like, go above and beyond the stars that become playoff legends, right? That in the moment, in the biggest pressure situations, there's no number that gives you that.
No.
There's no number that gives you that. So
you're not going to get Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't just be totally on the analytics. You have to know your personnel. You have to know your guys. You have to talk to them every day. A great coach should know, can I trust this guy right now when it means everything? When maybe the analytics wouldn't. Confidence and stuff comes so much more into play in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, that's why I think analytics, the season, it's great. I think in the playoffs, you have to make some gut calls still. Like, you can't just go by some piece of paper.
I think when the game is on the line, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I mean, to me, though, like, personally, with analytics, as long as it's good baseball and the game's being played well, I don't really have a problem with how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, man. I mean, when it comes down to it, like, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, it's like, are you really going to let this piece of paper dictate how the game goes when in your head you might have the right idea?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. And, like,
it's like, what got you there all year? It's just, there's lots of arguments to be had in this
there definitely are. I think there's place for both. I don't think that the old ways should be totally thrown out, but I don't think the new ways, should be dismissed as, by the old head so easily. I think I think both of them combined. Exactly. I think the league is trying to find that balance. That's what's going on right now. Because analytics, it's been 5 years basically since it's really.
Yeah.
It's just been 5 years. That's in the history of baseball, especially. That's 5 years is nothing.
No,
5 years is like a couple minutes. Like
I think we're gonna see is like there's gonna be a correction. Like they'll figure out the optimal way to play. Right now, analytics is just running the show, and like stats and all that. And I feel like we'll see a correction. You know, just like a stock market kind of thing. Where it'll kind of. I feel like it'll balance out.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so tonight, Desclafani. I can't say
Desclafani
pitching tonight.
In an hour.
I'm gonna have to make some picks on that. But
I'm
cut that so short.
I'm pretty stoked. It's gonna be great.
So Desclafani versus David Price.
Is it David? I thought it was somebody.
They scratched him.
They scratched him.
Well, I was gonna say.
It's a different guy on there.
Wait, really?
It's not. It's one of their lesser known.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Price was supposed to pitch, but I guess they changed.
At least I thought it was like an hour ago.
That's crazy.
Sorry.
It's Neville. Yeah, they changed it.
Yes. Okay, so it was. I didn't know it was David Price. I've just known that.
They just changed it. You're right.
Yeah.
They scratched him.
So wait, why did he get? Now we got to. Why did he get scratched?
Well, because we were gonna homer off that guy. I mean, that guy's like 45 years old, man.
Don't hate on David Price.
No, he's a legend for sure, and he's not 45. I'm misspoken there, but
he's been around a long time.
Let's be real. I mean, if it was David Price in there, like, wouldn't you be kind of stoked?
Yeah.
What do you think?
He's still on here right now, but he's not pitching.
Let's preview. All right, what's your prediction for the series tonight?
So
who are you riding with tonight?
I'm riding with Desclafani.
Okay.
I like him.
Giants today. Tomorrow, bullpen versus Urias. I mean, I don't think they're getting the Sunday game. They're playing Bueller with the bullpen.
I think they could take the first. They're not going to beat Bueller.
They can't beat Bueller.
I think they could take. Okay, tonight I have the most confidence in. Tomorrow is a coin flip. If we win Sunday, if the Giants win Sunday, I'd be shocked. I think they'll be plus 200 or something. Like I can't imagine that the odds being close on Sunday.
No, so it's
because he's been massacring us all year. Like
it's crazy.
It's been. But
you know what's nuts is like Dodgers fans. Like obviously I'm a man of the culture, so I spend some time on the internet.
I like that line.
Dodgers fans think that Urias is just like unstoppable. His record's great, but dude, who cares about a record anymore? That just means he's getting run support.
Yeah,
I don't care if you have a 15-4 record.
I'm way more afraid of Bueller.
You know what I mean? Like back in the day, a 15-4 record, like I used to look at that and be like, oh my god, dude, like I would be so impressed with it. But now I'm looking at it like he's given up 2, 3, 4 runs in his starts, but they're still winning because his offense is so lethal.
Well, back then it was harder to score runs. The pitchers, I mean, it goes up and down. It crashes and waves, but like it was harder to score runs back then. You know, like
we lit them up last time we played. I remember.
Yeah. So I think I don't think either one's gonna sweep. Let me put it like that. I don't think either one's gonna sweep. They're both too good. Tomorrow's game is going to be very interesting.
Would you give the Dodgers a better chance to sweep than the Giants?
Yeah, because they're on a roll. I mean, I don't love, Solano's not going to be back until after this series.
They're not going to have Wood.
Wood's on COVID.
Cueto.
Yeah, Cueto had some scare or something. What's up with Cueto?
I don't know, dude. He was on the COVID list, and then they got him off. It was just...
we went to the Brewers game on Tuesday, and Cueto was terrible. So that was rough to watch.
He probably should have taken the day off.
He should take some time off. That was rough. He gave up like 5 or 6 runs.
Couple bombs.
Oh man, that was rough.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Dodgers have a higher chance to sweep, just because
we're just being realists here.
Yeah. But
dude, you know what's crazy is like the psychological factor. I know the Dodgers are the better team, but the last time these two teams faced each other,
Kenley Jansen, you got it.
They got to the bullpen. They got to Kenley, but they also got to the other members of the bullpen, if I remember correctly.
No, I don't know why Dave Roberts doesn't like his boys doing complete games. Because if he would have let them go complete, it would have been done.
You're right.
The Dodgers would have 2 or 3 more wins against the Giants if he let his starters go complete games, but he just doesn't do it.
Maybe it's like an inning restriction, postseason stuff. I don't know. Whatever.
They should be up by 2 or 3 games. Like actually, we saw those games. We had a couple bets down. It was nuts.
But that's what I think, dude. Like the Giants' best chance to really like make this happen would be to knock off their starting pitchers in the next game.
Oh, gotta. I agree. I think against the Dodgers, that should be their number one strategy. I mean that's a strategy against most teams, but especially the Dodgers. Their starters are just too excellent. You gotta knock their starters out of the game. Like,
so, dude, the runs between the teams have been pretty lower lately. They've been pretty tight games.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to continue, or do you see this one being kind of a higher runs category? I don't know. Curious what you're feeling tonight. I was listening on 95.7 The Game, and they were talking about...
What is it, 7 runs tonight?
Yeah, they're talking about the over.
I bet it's 7 or something, right?
Yeah.
Probably. I could see the over tonight.
Over under 8.5. Oh, wait.
Is it 8.5?
8.5.
That's a little high. I would do under 8.5.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do... If it was 7, I'd do the over.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it might be 8 runs. I don't think 8.5. I don't like 8.5.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like 8 runs. That's what I would say tonight.
No, I feel you on that. Check. Okay. We've been on 26.
So what do you think? What do you think this series?
I think Giants can take today.
Mm-hmm.
And then, man, I don't know. Like, I guess, like, the best case scenario for me as a Giants fan would be they win today and tomorrow they probably lose Sunday. I'm going to the game on Sunday. I just kind of wrote that one off. They're probably not going to win it.
I think realistically they win tonight and lose the next 2, and I hate saying that as a Giants fan, but like,
yeah,
it would be amazing if the Giants came out of this series 2-1. That would be solid.
You know what'd be crazy is and I mean, I'm probably going to bet on the Giants tonight, so freaking hope
I already set it down.
I hope this doesn't happen, but what if they lose tonight, which I hope they won't.
That would
But
be...
what I'm saying, just put your money out of this, because I'm betting on them too.
Okay.
They lose tonight, they lose tomorrow, but then they beat Bueller. That'd be an interesting situation as well. I'm not going to write that off. I think that would be really unlikely, but I'm just saying...
That would probably be, like, the least likely.
That would be the least likely, but...
The least likely thing.
But don't you think that in that world, like, let's just talk about that world that I just described that won't exist.
The confidence that they get from beating Bueller.
Is that equivalent to, even though they lost
I'd rather
the
have the
series?
game. I'd rather have the series. No.
Yeah, you'd rather have the series.
Because I just think both of these teams know each other so well. I don't think they're scared of Bueller. I don't think either team is scared of either starters or anything like that. They know each other so well. I don't think anyone's scared of anyone.
Do you look forward to the high potential that these two teams could meet in the first round of the NLDS?
Yeah, so we talked about this in passing. I think it's so whack that this would be a possible NLDS and not an NLCS. I think that's kind of a shame to fans everywhere, to be honest, if that were to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's probably what's likely, though.
Oh, it is.
I would bet on
It's
it.
most likely going to happen. I think it would be cool if the playoffs got reseeded, if the MLB mixed that up. Like, I would just... What do you think? Oh, you brought this up to me. How would you have the MLB do it? You've been upset with it for a while, the playoff seeding.
So I had a discussion with a buddy of ours, John, who is a Chicago Cubs fan. So the NL Central, they've had a few times in the last 10 years where 3 of their teams, the Pirates, Reds, and the Cubs, have been really good.
Yeah.
And they've been in a similar scenario to what we have here with the Giants and the Dodgers, but they weren't the same because the Giants and the Dodgers
weren't as good.
The best records in the leagues.
Yeah.
In the league.
In the entire league.
In the league, yeah. So personally, what I would do is I would keep the amount of teams that can enter the playoffs, but I think
I'd like to reseed them by wins.
By wins, yeah. I mean, I think the argument for that is, and I would honestly, I don't care about the argument, but I'm just going to give it to you.
No, you got to say it.
The argument for that would be, what does it matter if I win the pennant anymore? Like, what does that mean to win the NL West? What does it mean to win the NL? You know what I mean? And that's like
Yeah.
a historical thing amongst baseball fans.
Yeah.
However, I agree, man. It's a new age. There's a new game that's being played, pretty much. So I'm all for it.
I think with, football, you're never going to get the two best teams because of injuries. There's nothing you can do about it. Basketball, you get the two best teams.
Last year, football, I think, might have been the two best teams, just on paper.
Yeah, I agree. Last year, it doesn't usually happen.
It's not common.
It's not common because of injuries.
Yeah.
It doesn't, that's in that you can't change that. I do think last year, yeah.
And the two best teams doesn't mean it's gonna be a good game either, because
yes, exactly.
Like
but
yeah.
I'd like to baseball. It sometimes. I mean, baseball always has a shocking way of, even if the teams are totally one's way better than the other. It's just it has a way of being special anyway. So I guess I'm not totally hung up on it because, I mean, who would have thought the 2010 Giants would have done anything, that's shocking. So I don't really care if they change it or not, but it is a little upsetting that,
especially in
this
our
year,
position.
we are biased. I wouldn't like to see the Dodgers and Giants that early in the NLDS. That would suck. Even if the Giants were good. If it was the Padres, I wouldn't like to see the Padres and the Dodgers in the NLDS.
Or why should a team that, let's say the season ends today, and let's say because the Dodgers have the tiebreaker or whatever, they go to the NLDS for sure. We go to the wild card. Why is a team that is tied for the best record in the league, in the entire league,
go to the wild card,
going to a one-game playoff?
That is the bigger problem. Than the NLDS.
That's my issue. That's my issue.
I agree.
I think whatever. If the Giants play the Dodgers, okay, cool. At least we get a series and it's fun. We probably wouldn't. The Giants probably wouldn't win that, but the fact that the best record in baseball could get eliminated in one game, that is an issue.
Well, it's ironic. Back in the day, we've had this discussion before. My dad told me about it, and I think your dad told you about it.
Yeah, the Braves.
The Braves, yeah. So the Braves. So if you guys don't know or not, what the wild card didn't used to exist, obviously. The Braves and the Giants tied at 104 or 105 games, and the Giants missed the playoffs because head-to-head the Braves beat them, and they added the wild card the next year. I do think
shout out the Marlins.
You got to change. Yeah, shout out the Marlins. You do have to do something about that because I think it's basically the same thing. It's close to it. Why the hell should the Giants or the Dodgers be in a one-game playoff, and they have maybe the right behind the best, the second best, the third best record in the entire Major League Baseball league?
I had a solution to this, and I'm forgetting it. But on another note, the Florida Marlins definitely owe the Giants a big appreciation for their rings because they've won 2 on the wild card.
Yeah,
and at least it came full circle because the Giants got it in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, back to what we were talking about though. Yeah, man, I had kind of a solution to it with I think it was. So how many teams make the playoffs? There's the 3 winners, and then there's 2 wild cards, so 5.
Yeah, it's a 10.
I think what I would do, this would be my solution, is you add one more playoff spot, and then you give one of those teams of the NL or the AL a bye. So say
the higher seed.
Say the highest seed gets a bye. So the Dodgers get a bye.
Make it kind of like football.
The only issue with that is in baseball when you're sitting around for a while, that
would add a ton of other stuff.
You lose your mojo. But that would be my solution. Then you have.
I think it's all right. I think that's the best solution possible, to be honest. I can't see.
You add one more playoff spot, and you still get the wild.
So it'd be the top 12 teams in the league.
Yeah, instead of what is it, top 10?
Yeah, it's top 10 right now.
But the one game elimination.
Football does 14. Basketball does 16. Doing 12. That'd still be less than the other 2 sports.
I wouldn't, especially in this scenario right now. It's kind of needed. Right?
You know what? Then will be the counter argument. What if the third wild card team or whatever is just got such a terrible record they don't even deserve to be in the playoffs? What if they're 500 one year or something? I know but I do like that way. So
that would be
that would be the one counter argument to that.
I mean, yeah, wild card teams can win it all.
Yeah.
They should like you can make the argument like, why is this team here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But
I like it. I think it's interesting.
keeps it interesting. Keeps it
Yeah,
fun.
definitely.
Dude, one of the crazy things about baseball that I like is, going into the season, we had no expectations for the team. We expected them to be okay because they almost made the playoffs last year. We didn't expect them to have the best record.
Power rankings, they were 22nd or 23rd.
They were low on the power rankings.
Yeah.
But do you feel like with baseball, like it's unlike any other sport where you can kind of just come out of nowhere with these guys? I feel like in basketball and football, you're kind of expected to be a certain place.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit. It's harder to bet on. Baseball's
It's random.
Baseball's the hardest sport to bet on for that reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, and you could find like, there's so many players. You could find these guys like Lamont Wade. He's a good example. Like out of nowhere that just come in and contribute.
Yeah.
Or just like stuff like that. Like where in football and especially basketball is like kind of its own because there's only 425 guys or whatever. Like basketball can't even qualify for this.
We know who's going to be good.
Yeah, football can kind of qualify because there's
more
53.
unknown
Yeah, more unknown. But like baseball, thousands of players. Players to be known. Named later. Like it's just I'd say there's a lot more randomness in baseball, which kind of makes baseball great. That's why I appreciate baseball because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, gosh, for us to be sitting here, September 3rd and the Giants have 85 wins. That's crazy.
I mean, unless they go on one of those terrible, and I'm gonna knock on this little tree here. If they go on one of these terrible runs where in 2016, like you said, Romo was blowing games.
Yeah.
They were a really good team that year, and then they fell quite a bit and ended up having to play in the wild card game.
Mm-hmm.
But, dude, I mean, they're going to probably win 90 games, right? Like,
I think they're going to win 90 games.
I mean, they might win 100.
What do they have, 13 or 16 left? 16 left, I think.
More than that. They got the entire month of September.
Oh. They got
Probably
20.
Like 25.
Is it 25? Yeah, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah, it's 20. I think it's
25.
24, 25.
Give or take.
Yeah. I think it's tough because it's against the entire NL West, and that Braves series at home is not good. The Cubs are the worst team they play, and that's in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's not. Oh yeah. So by the way, I was listening to Kipe's kid or Crook's kid.
One of the guys.
One of them. So the Giants have the 12th hardest schedule left, and the Dodgers have the 13th. And I just found that very interesting.
I did see that.
Yeah, so they're going to be neck and neck. You know what? Whether they get to 100 wins, it's totally based on how they play the Padres, obviously.
Yeah.
It's going to be up. If the Padres just, like, give up, they just, like, lose all, we're in the wild card, like.
Maybe they want to. There's a big rivalry between the Padres and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Maybe they can help a brother out.
Yeah, I know, yeah, so.
Yeah. Come on, Flyers.
It's gonna be based on the Padres. It's gonna be based on the Padres. So
All right.
it's gonna be an interesting run down the stretch.
All right, dude. So today, I guess I'm riding the Giants today. That other world I spoke on earlier doesn't exist.
I think we're both taking the Giants today. We're taking the Dodgers Sunday, and tomorrow's a coin flip. I think that's fair.
Hopefully, we hit the.
If we had to choose, I would say the Dodgers win tomorrow. I don't want to say that, but
There's a little part of me that's just like, let's get the sweep, man. Like,
yeah.
That'd be tight. I'm going to the game with
Sweeping them would be nuts. I know. You get to see
I really hope that'd be.
Get to see old Bueller up there.
I mean, dude, like, if Giants win game 1 and game 2, who's to say, man? Like, what could happen?
Oh, I think it. Yeah, if the momentum. Yeah.
But
I
they
think it's
gotta win
possible.
tonight. They gotta start tonight. This is probably the most important game of the series.
This is the most.
We got our starting pitcher today. We don't know if we have that in the next 2.
And they're.
Dude,
This is the one pitching advantage probably in these 3 games right now.
If DeSclafani can get like 7 innings, that's a lot. But if he can get like 7 or
It's the Dodgers. It's a lot.
7,
That's a lot, man.
if he can get 7 innings,
They could do it.
dude, like that gives our bullpen such a break, man. Like our bullpen will be well
They've
rested.
been working. They've been working. working lately.
Working, man.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe Gossman comes out of the woodworks on Sunday. Get that duel. That'd be sweet.
Gausman's been super disappointing.
He's been slowing down, but I looked at it. He's still top 5 in the league in ERA, which is pretty great.
I know, but it's all about when you get hot, and he's been terrible right now.
We
need him. We need him to
he's an ace.
Come back up in
To the-
September.
to the ace,
He
yeah.
needs to
But still,
I need to see some life, man.
Gossman, I will say this though, Gossman, who's not been great lately, he's still a good pitcher. He's not bad. It's not like he's given up 8 runs. He's still striking out 10 guys. It's just he needs to focus and he needs to lower his walks, get the control back.
His control's gone a little off kilter.
Yeah. But I think he can do it, dude.
His strikeouts really haven't gone down much. It's his
He's still
control
top
though.
5.
He's still
Top 5 in strikeouts.
Yeah. This last week he struck out the side in 1 inning, but then he fell apart. So I'm not worried about his strikeouts. But
He's just got to get the walks down.
yeah.
That's a big
It gets
part.
a little wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we beat the NL West pretty hard there.
Yeah, I'm down to just quickly go over a couple other things and then bounce, go get some food.
Yeah, I think just quickly. So we're basically done with baseball right now.
Yes.
Just quickly. So the Brooklyn Nets traded to jump to basketball. Sorry. The Brooklyn Nets traded DeAndre Jordan and 4 second-round picks to Detroit for two other players, lesser-known players. I don't have them off the top of my head, but it was interesting because the Nets just saved $47 million in cap space, which is kind of a lot because they're way over.
Do you like the fact they gave up those second-round picks?
I mean, they're so all in. It's not even.
They're just
4 second-rounders. That's all.
So they give up cap. Were they way over the cap? That's why they did.
DeAndre Jordan was pushing him way over the cap. Yeah. So Detroit's gonna buy him out, obviously, because they have no need for him because they're they're just trying to have young players play. They have a lot of good young talent.
Cade.
Yeah, and the guy from last year, the French guy, he's another guard.
Yeah.
So they're gonna buy him out, and then DeAndre Jordan, according to Woj, Woj knows all. He's gonna sign with the Lakers. So the old men keep getting older.
Yeah, they do. Is he 34, 35?
He's 33, I think.
He plays like he's 36.
I can't believe how old they'll be. They'll be one of the oldest teams I think I've ever seen in my life in basketball.
Definitely right there with the 04 Lakers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so if it all goes to plan, supposedly, they'll have LeBron, who's 35, right? Carmelo, who's the same age as they're the same age, I think, 35.
Yeah, same class.
DeAndre Jordan, 33. Dwight's 32, I think.
Russ is 32.
And Russ is, I think he's 31. No, you're right, he's 32.
Same age as Steph.
Steph's 33, I thought.
Oh, really?
Maybe, or he's turning 33, maybe.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Anyways,
Doesn't matter.
what's that?
That's all
That's
the same.
it's like 5 guys that are over 32.
No, they're old. They're old. And
That's-
Rondo.
Oh, Rondo's not young either, man.
Let's just be real. They got a lot of guys on their team with at least 10 years of experience in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's an easy way to put it.
What's interesting to me is I think that'll help them early on in the season.
Yeah.
But when they get into the dog days, I don't know how those old men are going to be.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a great seed. I don't think they're gonna have to really figure it out in the playoffs. With injuries, man, who knows what could happen?
And they also they're 2 big men that are older. That's tough. They always get hurt. DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard. DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard, Rondo, and just it's gonna be fascinating with the chemistry between those guys. I don't know, how's that gonna work? Russell Westbrook and Rondo sharing the back, DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard, LeBron trying to get all of them.
I think I personally,
it's gonna be fascinating.
I'm a Warriors fan. I'm biased. I see dumpster fire in the future, bro. Not gonna lie.
I
don't believe in it.
I think I'm all here for it though. I'm cool. I'll go down the plane with them. I want to see what happens with them. They're gonna be fascinating.
They're the
right?
most interesting team in the league.
We're gonna be talking about them a lot. Like,
They're gonna be interesting, man.
yeah, they're you know what? They're like a drama.
They're an
like a TV
experiment.
show.
They're a social
Like
experiment.
The Bachelors, like something like that. We're just here for the drama, man. We're not even here for the basketball.
We'll be here on Tuesday to do our Bachelor discussion. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that's not happening. But the Lakers will be comparable, is all I'm saying to that.
All right, well, hey, dude, I'm pretty down with ending it there. I know that we're going to be talking some football in the next podcast. Obviously, next week is the start of the NFL season.
Oh, we're gonna hit that for sure. Yeah,
we'll
probably Friday.
Talk a little fantasy on there. Dean and I will give a little bit of advice, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, maybe players of the week.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
none of you guys are listening. None of you weasels.
Yeah. So people in our league.
All
That's referring to.
All right, brother, making waves.
Big
Yeah,
waves.
we're out.
Thanks for watching, people. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Peace. Sorry, man. I'm hungry, bro.
No, that was.